Hello, everybody. Hello, we're live. I'm sorry I missed y'all last week. We went camping last week. I thought maybe we could go live from the campsite, but we watched the weather and it was going to be raining solid for 2.5 days. The rain's kind of loud in the camper. I thought we could sit outside and do a live at the picnic table, but that wasn't going to happen. So I hope you caught the recorded video I did for the snowflake out of clothespins. That was really cute. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Miss Chantel, for moderating today. Thank you so much. I surely would not like to do a live without having some moderators. So a huge thank you to my moderators. So great to see y'all. Today we're going to do a fun little ornament, the Churn Dash. The Churn Dash block, y'all, we did during the Happy at Home series where we went live every day for like 50 days. This time we're going to make a baby Churn Dash into a Christmas ornament. So that's what we're doing today. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to skip to the good stuff if you want to. We're just going to hang out for a minute before we get started so that everybody can come into the live. One of the reasons why we're doing the lives is to give a platform to all of our friends and family. I consider all of everyone who comes to my channel family. So it gives us all a chance to have some family time during the week. So that's why we're coming live to do this ornament. But if you're watching on the replay, feel free to skip to the good stuff. Sue, yes, isn't that quilt so adorable? I have 3 more blocks to make on that quilt, or 3 more blocks to put together before I can start assembling the big blocks. That's what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm putting together 3 more blocks. So I'll have a fun afternoon after the live. It is so great to see y'all. So great. Yeah, we're doing the Churn Dash. So you see right there, if you want the materials list for this block, maybe you want to put it in a file somewhere or in a binder so that down the road you can make this block and you know exactly what to cut. It's in the description box, along with the playlist for all the videos in this series, all the different Christmas ornaments we've done so far. That link is in the description box too. I'm trying to think. Oh, there's a link to the Creative Crew group. If you haven't joined that, that would be awesome, over on Facebook. And as always, if you make this ornament or any of the other ornaments, or you make up your own, we'd love to see them over on the Creative Crew. Cheryl, my camping trip was so relaxing. It's really nice to unplug for a couple days and just do nothing but relax and eat snacks and good food and just hang out. It's really nice just to have a couple down days. It was really, even though it did rain for 2.5 days, we just chilled out, and that was nice. That was nice. I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen over so that maybe you don't want to print out this materials list. You can at least take a look at it. Here it is, y'all. Here it is. I'm going to leave this up here for a few minutes so you can maybe take some notes if maybe you don't have a printer. This is the materials list. We're going to go over that here in just a second. But while everybody is coming in, y'all remember this? This is one of the ornaments that we've done in this series. This is a free pattern, y'all. And if you haven't seen this video yet, click on the link for the playlist. You'll find this ornament in there. Y'all, here in my area, there's no more toilet paper to be found. So how fitting is this ornament? Have you made this yet? You know, you got to find some humor. You got to find the humor in it all. So if you haven't made this ornament yet, if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check it out. But yeah, no toilet paper in our area. And then as an alternative way to finish this block. This one is finished. We're going to sew it right side out and turn it in the end, but as an alternative way, I've put pinking shears on there because you could finish it just like this. This is the friendship star block we did. This video can also be found in the playlist. Same size block, y'all, but this one I finished with pinking shears. So optional pinking shears. It's 2 different ways you could finish this baby Churn Dash. This one I made with Harlan's clothes. I love it. So that's just a couple of the ornaments we've already done. But today we're doing this baby little Churn Dash. Every time I see a Churn Dash block, I think of my friend Jeannie. Because for a good part of the quarantine, when it first happened, the first couple of months, she was working on a Churn Dash quilt that was all black and white. And so that has just stuck with me. And so every time I see a Churn Dash block, I think of Jeannie. Here's all the things that you need. We're going to go over it because I've already pre-cut all of my stuff. We're going to need 2 3.5 by 3.5 inch blocks. So I have those cut here. 3.5 by 3.5. Preferably a light and a dark one, right? Give it a little bit of contrast. Then we're going to need 2 1.25 by 9 inch strips, 1 light and 1 dark. So I have those cut right there. Then we're going to need 1 2 inch by 2 inch light square. That's going to go right in the middle. That's just letting you know that we're going to be working with 2 inch pieces, putting them together. That's my middle piece. You're going to need a batting piece and a backing piece that is 5 inches. So I have those cut. And then a ribbon for your hanger. You can make the ribbon as long or as short as you want. I just put 7 inches on there. Jerry, yes, I remember all of those blocks she had up on the wall. That's why it's just ingrained in me that when I see a Churn Dash, I think of Jeannie. I think of Jeannie. Yeah, Chantel, the 2 inch pieces, they're much smaller than what I'm used to using. If you see the quilt up on the wall, those pieces are like 5.5 by 5.5 or 5.5 by 9. That's more my size, right? The 2 inch is a little bit of a struggle for me, but I think it's good. I think it's good to sometimes work with these smaller pieces because we're not going to get used to using smaller pieces and doing smaller patchwork unless we do it. So it gives me a good practice while we're making these ornaments. Pat, I totally agree. I think you could redo the math on most of the blocks we did and do, how many blocks was it? 53 or 54? Something like that, different blocks. You could make that many different ornaments, right? Yogi says, I would like to join in the Zoom. But how? Yogi, are you on the Creative Crew group on Facebook? If you are, that is where we Zoom. If you are, let me know and I'll tell you how to get there. Dawn, we Zoomed last night. We did a Zoom last night. Sally hosted a Zoom last night. Memsy, I just want to thank you so much for moderating. All right, Yogi, if you have a Facebook account, go onto Facebook. There's a link actually in the description box. It brings you right over to the Creative Crew. There's 2 security questions that you need to answer, and we join you in the group. The questions are super easy questions, but if you don't answer them, we can't join you in. But once you're there, periodically, every once in a while, we do a Zoom, and there will be a link that you click on our group page, and it brings you into the Zoom, and then I can see you, and you can see me, and you can see everybody who's there, and we hang out and we chit chat and we do all kinds of fun conversation. Sometimes we talk about projects. Most of the time we talk about life and we just hang out. So the only time you're going to see a link for Zoom is when there's an active Zoom going on. If there's no Zoom going on, then you won't see anything about Zoom on the Creative Crew. A lot of the times we like to give a little heads up, like Sally yesterday said, hey, does anybody want to Zoom tonight? I'm thinking about doing it at around 8. And so it gives you some heads up. And so around 8, you come back to the group page and you scroll until you see the link from Sally and you click on it and it brings you in. But if you don't see no links as you're scrolling through, then there is no active Zoom going on. So you're not missing anything. Miss Sally, thank you so much for helping moderate today. Thank you. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you have questions for me, if you put them in all caps, that helps me see your post. Sometimes the comments go by fast, y'all, and if I am concentrating on what I'm doing, I might miss it. So feel free to repeat your question if somebody else doesn't answer. Okay, I certainly would not intentionally ignore your question, but it happens every time. I sometimes miss your questions. Dawn wants to know, can someone message her the next time we Zoom? I'll try to remember that, Dawn. I'll try to remember. All right, y'all, these are all of our pieces. I'm just going to put these where you can see them, but out of the way a little bit, like that. The very first thing we're going to do to get started, we're going to set our machine to a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm good there. We're going to bring 2 units over to the sewing machine. We're going to grab the 3.5 by 3.5 inch pieces. We're going to put the pretty sides together and match up all of those raw edges. And with this unit, y'all, we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam on all 4 sides. Okay? We're going to do that at the sewing machine, and then we're going to put the pretty sides together of these 1 1/4 inch strips. So pretty sides together. And we're going to sew from one end to the other with a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to do all of that at one time at the sewing machine. There we go. Yeah. All right, good. All right, I'm going to bring in this square unit. We're going to try to stay nice and straight if we can all the way around. And I'm sewing edge to edge. So there's our first one. I'm going to flip it around. There's our second. Flip that around. Let me cut off this little leader. Our third side, we have one more side. All right, and so that's done. I'm going to bring over the 2 strips, and I'm going to line up those raw edges nice and straight all the way down, and we're going to sew this from edge to edge with our 1/4 inch seam. You can see I'm going slow. There we go. All right, so there's our first two things that we've sewn together. Just like that. I'm going to warm up this iron. Time to wake up. Let's go to work. Just want to thank y'all for hanging out with me today. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to move these right over here like that for a minute because we're going to be moving in this pressing board. Once this iron heats up, because she's been sleeping for a little bit, I'm going to just press and set all the seams on this 3.5 inch unit. And then we're going to press this. And for this block, I like to press this seam open. Usually I press to the side. But for these pieces, it's going to make it lay a little bit flatter right in these sections of this block. Okay, so I'm going to press the seams open on that one, which takes me a little bit longer. It does. Let me move this pressing board over so you can see. All right, so we're just going to set the seams on that. Nice and flat. Yeah, she's warming up. And then we can set that aside. And now I'm going to set the seam on this, and then we're going to open that up nice and flat and give that a press. Which takes me a minute. It is chilly in here, y'all. We had frost this morning. We had frost. What are the temperatures like where you are? So it's kind of chilly in my room today. I'm just going to kind of finger press these seams open. Just like that. Get them going. Press that seam open. Sally, it's 53, but windy where you are. Yes, it is chilly here today. All right, I'm going to flip this over and press it from the front too, nice and flat. Just trying to be really careful not to stretch and make this piece wonky. We want it to stay nice and straight. It'd be real easy to kind of make this wavy, right? We want it to stay nice and straight. '67 and sunny. 76 last night. Whoa. 83. Wow. All right. So we have our pressing done. Let's go ahead and let's cut our units from this strip set first. Okay, so from this, we're going to cut 4 2-inch sections. Okay, your strip set should measure 2 inches wide, right? Now we're going to cut 4 pieces that are 2 inches wide. So let me bring over my cutting. Let's see if I can do it straight with this. Here we go. We're going to just straighten up this edge. And then we're going to measure over 2 inches. So there's 1. 2. 3. 3, and one more. 4. So there's those pieces. We have a little bit of waste, not much, just enough to really square up those pieces. Valeria, thank you so much. Lindsay's looking for help with a project. Can anyone PM me on Facebook? Her name on Facebook is Selma. About making pants larger to accommodate a belly Santa suit. Yeah, if anybody can help out Miss Selma, send her a message over on Facebook. Valeria, how is that grandbaby doing? All right, we have these 4 blocks cut. Now we're going to bring in this unit here, the 3.5, 3.5 piece that we sewed all 4 sides. We're going to cut from corner to corner on the diagonal of these pieces. This is going to make our 4 half square triangles, okay? So I'm just going to cut from corner to corner, nice and straight. We are going to square these up. This method of making half square triangles, they're going to be a little bit bigger than 2 inches, so we're going to square them up here in just a second. Once we have the 2 triangles, I'm going to flip them around, and I like to line them up on my mat, just makes it easier for me. And then we're going to cut one more time this direction. Just like that. So now we have 4 half square triangle units. I like to go ahead and trim off my little dog ears. At this point, you don't have to. I just find it easier for me. I'm just going to cut those little corners right off. And these units, I like to press my seams over to the dark side, but you can press them open if you want. So there we go. Oh, you talk to her every day. Oh, that's so good. That's exciting. I'm going to bring this pressing board back over. And we're going to press these half square triangles. Again, you can press them open, but I like to press them over to the dark side. This cord keeps getting caught up. There you go. Let's finger press it. There we go. And then press it. Yeah, these small little pieces, they're a little bit trickier for me to work with, but we're going to do it, y'all. We're doing it. So there's one. Who else has gone to the store in the past week and noticed a shortage of toilet paper? All of a sudden, just in the last couple of days, I've noticed on Facebook, everyone's saying they can't find toilet paper. We stocked up. When it finally came back in the store, we stocked up, and so we don't have to worry about it for a good little while anyway. But yeah, no toilet paper or paper towels. Here's our third one. Sheila, no shortage where you are. That's good. Good. I'm glad. And we've got one more. This gingerbread man fabric is so cute. A friend of mine sent me this several months ago. I thought it would be super cute to make an ornament with. No shortage in Quebec, Canada. That's good, Chantel. All right, so there's our 4 half square triangle units, and we're going to square these up, y'all, because they're a little bit bigger than 2 inches, and we're just going to square them up and make them nice and pretty. I'm going to do that by aligning. See this diagonal line that goes through this ruler? We're going to line up the edges on the 2-inch mark, and this diagonal line will run right along that seam. And anything that hangs off the edge, we're just going to trim that off. Okay? Just like this. All this little extra, you see that little tiny smidgen extra? That's what we're trimming off. We're going to do that for each 4 of these units. Just like that, little baby slivers. But that gives us a nice square, half square triangle block, right? Just like that. Like that. Like that. Y'all, I still have glitter all in my studio from doing the snowflake ornament last. Pretty sure I've carried glitter throughout the entire house. Which I'm fine with that. I like being sparkly. And just like that, these are the little slivers. That's all we're cutting off. But it's made our half square triangles exactly 2 inches and nice and square. And then we're done with the rulers. We're done with the cutter. Mimsy, my camping. Oh, it rained for 2.5 days solid. But it was such nice downtime. We had our snacks. We just chilled out, watched some Grey's Anatomy. Harlan watched, he likes watching Forged in Fire. So he caught up on some episodes of that. And yeah, we just hung out. It was some really nice just downtime. But then the sun came out the next 2 days, and it was sunny, so we could ride our bikes around the campground. I took a picture down by the water. It was really nice. At this point, this is what we have after doing that little bit of sewing and cutting. There's our pieces. Valeria, yeah, the little toilet paper ornaments. It's such a fitting ornament for this year, right? Dawn has 3 minutes until her break is over. Oh, that's all right, Dawn. If you want to make this ornament and you want to see how, you can always come back on the replay, right? Barbara said, I will never use glitter. It goes everywhere you go. It does. But I'm going to tell you, I don't mind it. I like being a little sparkly. You know what else goes everywhere you go? Have you ever been working on some quilt blocks or putting together a quilt, and then you go to the store and you see all of these strings all over your shirt or your jeans? That goes everywhere. Everywhere I go, I have strings everywhere. Deneen, you made 50 different hat ornaments. Oh my goodness. You've been busy. That was so much fun, right? The little yarn hat. All right, so let's lay out this block with all of these pieces. And I'll just bring over this little churn dash like that. So our 4 half square triangles are going to go in the corners. And I guess really you could turn them any which way you wanted, but I'm going to have them so that the red triangle is facing the center block. Here's my center block like that. Just like that. So that the lighter part of the half square triangle unit is in the corner. And then our strip sets we're going to put with the red facing in. Just like this. And the churn dash is coming to life just like that. Just like the big churn dash we did, only these are little baby pieces. Little baby pieces. We're going to assemble them in rows just like this. And I'm going to do all the sewing at one time. But I'll show you the mat and the sewing machine at the same time so you can see the order in which I take it over there. And this might work for you and you might do it a totally different way, right? There's probably 100 different ways you could assemble these pieces. Jean says her hubby washes his clothes separate from hers, so his clothes aren't covered in threads. That's so funny. That's so funny. All right, I'm going to switch this view over. We're going to see both the cutting mat and the sewing machine. I hope that's not too close up. We're going to start with the first 2 pieces in each one of these rows. We're going to turn the second piece pretty sides over onto the first piece, and we're sewing this seam that joins them right there. So you'll be able to follow along. Just going to match up these 2 raw edges nice and straight. Just like that. Is that too close? It might be too close. Let me back that up some if I can. Give me just a second. Will it let me? I don't think it changed. Sorry. It's really close up. All right, we're going to sew this first seam. I'm just going to leave that right there. We're going to come back over here. We're going to grab from the second row. We're going to flip that second piece over onto the first, and we're sewing that seam. And if you like this block and you've never made it before and you want to make it bigger, there is a video on my channel, and I think that was like a 12.5-inch block, the Churn Dash. And in that video, I give you all of the measurements to make this block bigger. So maybe you want to make a full-blown quilt out of the Churn Dash block. I give you all the measurements, and you can write them down and make a quilt. All right, I'm going to take this off of the sewing machine now. And to make it easy for you to see exactly what I'm doing, I'm going to bring this right back over and put it right back into place. So this was the first, second, and third. I'm going to leave them here. Just like that. Now we're going to be adding the third piece in each one of these rows. So I'm going to open this up. I'm not even going to press right now, but you could if you wanted to. I'm just going to add this third piece to each one of these rows. And then I'll press them once we get this third piece added. So there's the first one. We'll open this up and add this third piece. Flip that down. Thank you, Amy. I just cut my hair the other day. So there's that one. And the hardest part for me, y'all, working with these baby pieces, is trying to keep these seams nice and straight. That's the hardest part for me. So just like that, and bring that to the sewing machine. There we go. Ta-da. I'm going to bring over this pressing board. Bring it over. Wake up, iron. You're not done yet. So here's our rows, just like this. I'm going to cut them apart, and we're going to press these rows. Sally said the 12.5-inch Churn Dash block is video number 4 in the traditional block series. Thank you, Sally. Thank you. So that was the 4th block we did in that whole series. So here's all of our strips, just like that. Now for me, y'all, I'm going to press maybe a little bit differently than you would. Maybe you would open up this seam and press your seams open. For me, I'm going to be pressing where these 2 strips have the half square triangle. I'm going to be pressing my seams to that center block, okay, just like that. The center block, I'm going to be pressing my seams towards the strip sets, okay, and that's going to help me nest my seams, which makes it really easy for me to line up all of my seams. But you might want to press your pieces open if you want, right? I just find it easier to nest my seams. Mary, I hope your doctor's appointment went well. So those seams I pressed towards that middle piece. And then I'm just going to press one more time from the front. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. Many of you already know how to make the Churn Dash, right? But it's so great just to hang out with you. So there's our first strip. The center one, I'm going to press my seams towards my strip sets. That was hot. I'm just easing that seam over, trying not to stretch out these pieces, but get that seam to go the way that I want it to. And then I'll press from the front. So there's our center piece, and we have one more strip to do. Who is ready for Thanksgiving? Y'all, we're not going to be live next week because of Thanksgiving. But I look forward to seeing you the week after. I know it sounds crazy, but Thanksgiving has always been probably my most favorite holiday. I love Christmas. I do. But usually Christmas is just so much more busy and hectic and a little bit more stressful. Thanksgiving for me is just more laid back and we eat lots of food. And to me it's just more relaxing. It's always been one of my favorites. So here's our 3 pieces, y'all. Just like that. So we have 2 more seams to put this block together. We're going to join our strips together just like that. Vicki, you got a 12-pound turkey. We bought a turkey yesterday, but it's a little baby one. Like this Churn Dash block. It's like, I think it was a 6-pound, I think. I could pick it up pretty easily. It was a baby one. All right, I'm going to focus on the sewing machine. We're going to join these 2 pieces together, okay? And that's it, y'all. We just have 2 more seams to sew together because I've nested those seams. These seams, they just nest together. They catch each other and help me stay nice and lined up. We're going to sew this seam with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Stay straight, Lisa. Get it straight. There we go. And while we're right here, we're just going to open this up and we're going to add the last strip for this block. So there we are. If you can see that, we're going to bring in this other piece and it goes right at the bottom. We're going to flip the pretty side over and now we're sewing this other seam. So I'm just going to get those seams nested right in the center. Get that lined up nice and straight. Nice and straight. There we go. I have to concentrate a little bit harder with these smaller pieces. I have to really focus. I have to focus. So here we are, and now I'm going to press these seams, and to me, it just really wants to press towards the center, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press that seam towards the center. Brenda says, how far behind is your company behind on orders? Is it taking 2 to 4 weeks before a person gets their order? Brenda, are you talking about my quilts on commission or are you talking about quilting quilts for other people? I just got a quilt in. It's a t-shirt quilt. It came in yesterday. She did a double-sided t-shirt quilt, y'all, front and back, both sides t-shirts. That's going on the long arm this weekend. And I will be sending that out to her Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. But yeah, I don't have a big backup on quilting, long arm quilting for other people because that's not predominantly what I do. I can do it. I will do it. But that's not my specialty. That's not my business. My quilts on commission, I actually am booking quilts into May of 2021. So that's a much longer wait. Look, y'all, Isn't that so pretty? See how the nesting of the seams really helps me get those points? Nesting the seams helps me get these little points perfect. Isn't that pretty? I'm just going to give that a nice good little flat iron. And just like that, there she is. I think we're done with the pressing board. I think we're done. We're almost done with this ornament too. So we're going to bring in the ribbon. We're going to set that aside. We have our 5-inch batting and 5-inch backing. Now, if you want to put it together and do the little, pinking shears. Why did that just leave my mind all of a sudden? If you want to pink your edges, let me show you how to layer this together, right? It would be just like a quilt. Put the backing down, the batting, and the top, right? You could even put your ribbon in there like this, right? And then sew all the way on all 4 sides and then pink your edges. And this is what it would look like when you're done, right? So that's super easy. For this one, we're going to have a finished edge. So we're going to take our batting and put that down first, just like that. And then our back fabric with the pretty side facing up, like that. And our pretty little churn dash, we're going to put pretty side down, just like that. You can add your ribbon in there right now if you wanted to. Except for this time, your ribbon would go, the loop would go on the inside like that, right? Just like that. I'm just trying to line it up all nice and straight, kind of straight. I might even put a little pin so that this ribbon stays where it's supposed to. So it doesn't move around. Now we're going to sew all the way around all 4 sides, but we're going to make sure to leave an opening so we can turn this right side out. Let me put one more pin in here. So everything doesn't shift around. It's a little squishy with that batting on the back. There we go. The only thing about leaving an opening on this churn dash block is you got seams here, and you got seams here, and here, and here. I have a hard time turning my opening so that it's pretty. And with these seams, it kind of just adds a little bit more difficulty for me, but we're going to give it a go. We want to make sure to leave an opening big enough that you can turn this right side out. This one, I left the opening bigger. And that wasn't so hard to turn right side out. And this one, I came right inside those seams. And that was a bear to get all of this through a small little opening. So I'm going to try to leave the opening a little bit bigger on this one. And I'm going around all 4 sides with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And that's going to give us the pretty points right along the edge of our churn dash. So let's start where the opening is going to be. I'm going to start about right there, if you can see that. We're going to do some back stitches to lock it in place. And I'm going to sew all the way off the edge. My backing is a little bit bigger than my churn dash block itself, so I'm actually matching the presser foot up to the Churn Dash block, not the backing. Okay. Here's the side with the ribbon. I'm going to take that pin out now. And this is our last side, and we're not going to go all the way to the edge. We're going to leave a little opening. And back stitch there. So here we are. Valeria said, do you prefer to send the t-shirts uncut? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I prefer, I want to make sure I'm answering your question right. If I'm making a t-shirt quilt for somebody, I prefer that they don't cut the shirts. I want to be the one cutting apart the shirts. I have finished a couple of t-shirt quilts for a few people, and they had already cut their shirts. And for me, it takes a lot longer to make the quilt if I have to go in and fix stuff. I prefer that they send me the shirt untouched and I do all the cutting. I wonder if that's what you were asking. That's what you wanted to know. Yeah, I prefer that they don't cut the shirts at all. Maybe it's just the OCD in me. Maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak, but I have found that I actually make the quilt faster if I'm the one separating and cutting the shirts. All right, so before we turn this right side out, I'm just going to trim off this extra ribbon like that, and I'm even going to trim up this extra backing and batting just like that. And I'm going to trim on my four corners, being really careful not to cut into that corner seam. Let's trim this up some too. So there we go, and now I can, this is probably the part of making the ornaments or pin cushions, all the stuff where you're turning right side out. This is my least favorite part. I don't know why I struggle so much with it, but I do. This time I left it much bigger, so maybe it won't be so hard. Yeah, I prefer that the shirts be clean before they send them to me. I've made a few quilts where they were not clean when they sent them to me. All right, well, that was much easier with the bigger opening. Now we're just going to poke all of these corners out. And then you could really just hand sew this opening shut if you wanted to. I'm going to bring it back to the sewing machine one more time and just sew my opening shut with the machine, because for me that's so much faster. Let me grab a paintbrush. That'll work. I'm going to poke these corners out. There we go. I love this little gingerbread man fabric. It's so cute. I think this ornament would be super great. Those of you who do items on commission like t-shirt quilts, memory bears, maybe you have a client who wants to give a lot of items out to their family, but their budget doesn't allow for a bunch of pillows or bears or quilts for all of their family members, or maybe they only have a few items to work with, right? You could make a bunch of these ornaments out of clothing. How special would that be? Christmas ornaments made with clothing from their loved ones. You could certainly do a whole bunch of these with just a couple items of clothing. And for a lot of people, y'all, this would be so much more budget friendly. Maybe you have an Etsy shop. Maybe you do stuff on consignment. Maybe you could consider doing quilted ornaments with clothing for your clients. I think that would be fabulous. It's so much more budget friendly. I'm going to bring this in one more time. I'm going to turn this little opening right inside there, and we're going to give this ornament a press. We're going to go back to the sewing machine one more time. Oh, that was so much easier with a bigger opening. I'm going to have to remember that for the next one. Just going to give this a press. Like that. I'm going to press the whole ornament, trying not to melt my ribbon. I don't know if it'll melt, but I don't want to even find out. Just pressing. You could also quilt this. You could do any quilting that you wanted to do, right? So let me show you these real quick before I move over to the sewing machine. This one, I quilted the half square triangles and then did a stitch in the ditch through all of the strips, right? So you can see the quilting on the back. On this one, I did not quilt the half square triangles. I just did a stitch in the ditch, and it kind of looks like a 9 patch, which you probably won't be able to see because that thread really blends into the fabric on the back. But this one just looks like a 9 patch, very simple. Or you can do what I'm going to do and not quilt any of it, but I am going to sew a seam around the entire perimeter of this block. And that's not only going to finish this off really nicely, but it's also going to save me from having to hand sew that opening shut. So let me bring it back to the sewing machine one more time. We're going through 3 layers, y'all. The back, the top, which has some seams in it, and a batting. So just to ease up on my machine a little bit and make those stitches prettier, going to increase this stitch length to about a 3.0. All right, and I'm just going to stitch all the way around the outside of this ornament. It's so much faster for me to do this than hand sew that opening shut. It'll also reinforce that hanger just a little bit. Not that this ornament is heavy, it's not. There we go. That's it, y'all. That is it. Whoops, wrong one. I get click happy. There we go, y'all. Isn't that pretty? Mimsy, a friend of mine sent it, and she sent it at the beginning of the quarantine, and it was a whole bunch of different, like, fat quarters, and in there was quite a few pieces of Christmas fabric. I will try to see if there's a salvage edge on this, and if there is, I will post that over on the Creative Crew. so that maybe you can look for it. How about that? When the live is over, I'll go see if there's a salvage edge on it. If it is, I'll take a picture and maybe you can find it. So there we go, y'all. Baby Churn Dash. She's so pretty. Right? And don't forget, yeah, if you just joined in and you missed the beginning, you can jump down to the description box. There's a material list for this. It's free. It's a Google link. You just open it up and print it off. It's going to tell you the measurements of all the pieces to cut. And if you're just joining in, then I show you how to sew them together to make your little baby Churn Dash. It's so cute. Valeria, yeah, send me a private message over on Facebook, or you can also, y'all, in the description box is a link to my Etsy shop. I have lots of friends that I've met through doing these videos. They don't do Facebook, but they can send me pictures and messages through my Etsy shop. You can use that to contact me. So there's a link to my Etsy shop down in the description box below. And if you send me a message on Etsy, it dings on my phone. So I'm like, okay, when I get a chance, I'm going to go over to Etsy, and there's your message. You can use that to message me as well. She said she's glad she's not the only. I talk to everything. I talk to my little mouse. I was having mouse issues with my computer the other day. I talk to that. I talk to everything. Sometimes I have to because it's just me in here most of the time. So these are like my friends that I hang out with. She said, okay, I do shop on your Etsy. Well, you can also message me through there. You don't even have to shop, but you can send me messages right through there. And I get a little ding on my phone that tells me I have a message waiting. You can send pictures through that too, which is nice because I know of 3 really good friends that we've gotten to know each other really well through Etsy. They watched a video, they contacted me through Etsy, and now whenever they do quilts, I have one friend who is working with her long arm, learning how to do that. She sends me pictures that you would not believe her quilting. I can't believe it. She hasn't had her long arm very long. You would not believe what she's done. But we just talk through Etsy. Like it's a messaging app. Linda, you made the Give Thanks mug rug and the 2020 ornament. Yeah. The Give Thanks mug rug. That's a perfect size little mug rug, isn't it? You're welcome, Cheryl. Karen said, will you sew something with a curve sometime? Karen, you are in luck. It's your lucky day. Okay, so let me show you a little preview of something that I'm working on. It's rough because this is usually, it goes through a rough stage before we get to a finished stage. Okay, but let me show you what I'm working on. It's a paper piecing ornament, but it's got a curved edge to it. I don't know if this is what you're talking about. It's got a curved little edge. This is the rough draft. It's not going to look like this. And a cotton ball is all I had at the moment, but I would like to put a jingle bell there. I got to go to Michael's. I got to get some jingle bells. But I just glued that on there just to kind of get a finished look. Little snowman. But the one I'm designing is actually going to be bigger. See? He's smaller than what I want to do, but it's going to have the curve at the bottom. Is that Or you want to do curved piecing like the drunkard's path. I'm not good at that. There's lots of YouTubers who have excellent tutorials on curved piecing. Oh, I struggle with it. But that's a curve. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but this is how it all starts. Isn't it so cute though? Paper piecing. You reuse the template over and over again. I love it. Oh, the Dollar Tree. I still want to go to Michael's though. Depends on which place I go to first. Why does he have a frown? That's his nose. That's his little nose. But I guess, see, I changed it to a full circle on the pattern. And this isn't even a fabric marker. But there we go. That's his nose. Stella, you're welcome. You're welcome. Sally said, curved piecing is not bad. You just have to go slow. Maybe that's what I've been doing wrong. Is maybe I'm just approaching it way too fast. Sally, you probably have a really good point. I've just gotten so frustrated anytime I've tried to do a block that has curved piecing that I'm just like, nope, I don't love it that much to have that much frustration. But you know what? It's been a couple years since I tried it. So maybe now that I have a lot more experience, maybe if I come back for me, maybe it'll be easier. I haven't tried it in a good long while. Diana says, see, she loves curved piecing. I did see someone do curved piecing, glue basting with curved piecing. That would be the way that I would do it. It was a Fons and Porter video, I think. Shout out to Fons and Porter. I think that's where I saw she was glue basting her curved piecing. Sally, yeah. I mean, yeah, my piecing has improved. If you go back and you watch the first couple videos in that traditional block series, the Happy at Home blocks, my piecing, if you watch the first couple videos and then you watch the last ones, doing all of those blocks, y'all, really helped sharpen my skills. I'm not anywhere where I'd like to be, but wow, I've gotten so much better. And I think we should be able to, to recognize that within ourselves, see our improvement, and be proud of where we've come, right? There's a big difference of where I started and where I am now. I want to get better. Maybe I want to get better and do curved piecing. But, yeah. I certainly always think that the more that we do it, the better that we get. Mimsy is asking, does anyone know how to adapt pants for a Santa suit? And maybe if you're watching this on the replay and you just heard that question, jump over to Facebook. She's Selma in the creative crew and you can help her out. Selma, would have no clue. You don't want me to try to tell you. I don't have any idea where to even start. Sally said, first you have to do a piece backing. I know, I made a post the other day that said, you know the Maury Povich memes where he's holding the sheet about the lie detector test? I posted a really funny meme a week or so ago about the pieced backing. I really wanted to do a pieced back in 2020, but then 2020 happened, right? And that's not going to happen this year. There's always next year. Catakip says, I would love to go on the curved adventure with you. Well, the first curve adventure, before I ever do a pieced block, a curved piecing, is I'm going to make the little snowman with the curved bottom. That's as close as to a curve that I'm getting for a little while. But if you get a chance and you come across Fawns and Porter's curved piecing, glue basting video, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the way that I would probably go. So y'all, it's been really fun hanging out with you. Am I frozen? It looks like I'm frozen. Give me just a second. I'm blurry. Let me go out and refresh. I'm still blurry. I don't know why I'm blurry. That's probably a good indicator that we're done, right? Does it look blurry on your end, Jeannie? It looks blurry here. It might be my internet too. It might be the internet is slow here. So maybe that's why it looks blurry on my end. So y'all, okay, so just as a reminder, next week is Thanksgiving on Thursday. So we won't have a live. I'm going to try to record a video that I can release next week. But yeah, see that quilt behind me? That's going to get most of my time in the next couple of days. And then I'm quilting a quilt for someone else. But I'm going to try to get a video recorded. So we have the Santa Claus ornament coming up. I'm doing a vintage angel mug rug. I'm working on the pattern for that. It's gorgeous. And, but yeah, I'm not sure what I'll record for next week, but there will be no live. So I just want to say, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you eat lots of yummy food. I hope you stay safe. And, yeah, stay connected. If you can't join with family, open up a Zoom and Zoom with your family, right? That's so important. If you can't be there in person, try to find some way that you're not sitting by yourself, that you can engage with your loved ones. Zoom is doing a free unlimited Zoom on Thanksgiving that I know of. So yeah, I know it's not perfect, it's not ideal, but oh, it's better than just being by yourself, right? Yeah, I love you so much. Eat lots of stovetop for me. That's my favorite Thanksgiving food, stovetop. And yeah, I hope you just have a blessed week and you stay safe. I will see you in person week after next, right? Yeah, vintage angel mug rug. It's going to be gorgeous. Keep your eyes out for that. All right, everybody, have a fantastic day. I've got to go start sewing some quilt blocks together. Bye.